Hey everyone, it's your favorite host, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we're back. I missed you guys. It has been incredible, but we are kicking this off with an incredible show. I'm glad to be back, and I have Mr. Ben Camille. Today we're going to talk about travel, right? We've suffered through the pandemics. We've suffered through everything. We've suffered through COVID-19, taxes, inflation, all of it. Now we're going to talk about something fun. We're going to talk about travel. And I have a man here today that is going to help break down something that we often don't think about. Mr. Camille runs a company that is changing the absolute game. First of its kind, never seen before. He's an actual travel brokerage, and he's helping us save costs and protecting you, me, and all of us, and saving us thousands of dollars and bettering that experience when you go on travel. But he also is an expert in business, and he's here to share some insider tips. We're going to beg him for some insider tips when it comes to business and building a brand and how he has been able to be successful and help us get to a better place. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the stage the incredible Mr. Ben Camille.
What's up? Thank you so much for having me. I love the vibes. I'm so excited to be here, and I appreciate having me.
I appreciate you being on here. Thank you for making time for us in Gentleman Style Podcast Show, sir. This is going to be dope. And this is absolutely needed. This is necessary. People need what you're putting out here. But first, I want to start off. Your company is called Travel Defend. How did you get started? I feel like there's a story there. What happened?
There is a good story there.
What happened?
By the way, stop me if you think I'm talking too long, okay? But I want to tell you the story because it's actually it's an amazing story. So I used to run luxury tours for almost 20 years, okay? When I'm talking luxury tours, I mean super high end, $100,000, $200,000, $400,000 just for a week event, okay? So when we're talking really that level, and as you mentioned, COVID came. Not only me, but destroyed my business. It destroyed many businesses. I have a family and all that. And I, basically was destroyed for 3 years. We didn't make any money. So it was just in LA, by the way, in California, very tough. Coming out of it, I realized no one was going to book this event without travel insurance because obviously there's way too much money on the line. And the type of operator that I was at the time, and that I am really, I'm not cool with what everyone else does. And what does everyone else do, right? They just say, I don't know, go to this guy, Allianz or AIG or Travel Guard, whatever it is. Just buy whatever they have and, you'll have travel insurance and good luck to you. I was running something that was way higher level than that. So I was like, I'm not comfortable doing that. I don't know how this works. Who actually pays these bills? And no one's interested in travel insurance. So everyone kind of just pawns it off to some, black box mystery. Who pays the bills? How does this actually work? And I wasn't comfortable with that. And for whatever reason, I think it was really like God just driving me. I got fascinated with travel insurance, which is the weirdest thing in the world. Who in the world is interested in travel insurance? Nobody but me. And I got obsessed with it, and I started to understand it, and I started to go to all the industry events. I started to meet the CEOs of these companies, and I was like, wow, some companies are crappy. Some companies are amazing, and I want my clients to know who's great and to not only know who's great, but I wanted to influence my clients going to the top of the line, right? Front of the line, get them paid. I wanted to bring a lot of power to the situation rather than just kind of be, weak, stand back. And so what I did was I started figuring this out. I started selling travel insurance, not my own policy, but we're a brokerage, right? We have access to every policy in America. We're experts in all of them. Someone would call as a concierge service. We figure out what's good for you, right? We deal with a lot of luxury. People go on a $50,000 trip, let's say very common, they're going to Italy, they're going to South Africa, whatever it is. They want to know in real life, how do I know if I'm protected? How do I know if medically something happens to me? What if something happens to my parents? What's something to my kids? And every policy is different, and people have no clue what they're buying. So I went out to all the other tour companies in my niche, and I said, look, you guys are in the same boat. You have thousands of clients. Nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Send them all to us. We're going to get them figured out. We get commissions from the insurance company, but the best part is we add zero cost. We don't add a penny to the cost. So if someone would buy a policy for $500, they come to us, it's the same $500. We don't add any cost. And we get commission. We give commission back to the tour operator. And it has exploded from there. And I actually stopped doing tours. I stopped doing luxury tours. I said, you know what? This is a way better business than tours. And now we work with hundreds, seriously, hundreds of tour operators, travel agents. We have endless thousands of clients. And we take care of the people. We get them paid very quickly. We bring tremendous power to the table. And we're the only ones in America doing this because travel insurance is billions of dollars, not hundreds of millions. All these companies do billions. And if all these billions knew about us, they would, of course, buy with us. There's never an advantage to buying on your own. You're simply a faceless nothing. And so now they come to us. Our business is growing very quickly, and it's fantastic.
Love it. Love it. The man, the myth, the legend. So I want to stay right here. I want to keep it right here because this is good. This is really good. And we need to hear this and we need to notice that. And this is why I love doing this, bringing experts, bona fide experts, not some fugazi guy, not some guy I found last week, right? Bringing true experts that are going to help people be safer. But I want to stay right here. What are some common things people don't even think about when what they would need travel insurance for? So what's something I need to protect if I'm going on travel? What are some things I don't even consider?
Well, what's funny and what's weird and what's odd, especially now that I work here and this is what we do, I'm very paranoid because I see a lot of crazy stuff. Sickness, injuries, hospitals, simply just medical on your trip. If you're leaving America without getting travel insurance, at least for the covering the medical, which is cheap. I'm not pushing this for my own benefit. What is it? Let's say you leave America, you're going to Mexico and you want just medical coverage. What is it going to cost you? $100? I mean, it's not expensive in that sense. That's not what makes travel insurance expensive, right? We could talk about, there are policies that are very expensive, but that's typically if you get very old and you have a super expensive trip. Like we just did a policy the other day for two couples that were both in their 70s, okay, almost 80. They're like 78 years old, these couples. Their trip was 90 grand a couple, and they wanted to protect that. So their travel insurance cost almost $20,000 just for their travel insurance, okay, which is seems very high, but if you look at it, it's 10, 11% of their trip cost, which is very normal. But if you wanted just medical coverage, which that's what I'm saying, everyone should get medical. You should not leave America without medical coverage. Very cheap. It's not a big deal. It's $100, $200. However, God forbid a real situation happens, it can affect your entire life and it can be very dangerous and financially destroy you. I mean, we had a man in the Caribbean a few months ago. He was 81 years old and he had a stroke. And he needed to be medically evacuated back to America. There were 7 doctors on the plane. It cost over $800,000. So the fact is, and thank God we had him with the right policy. He was covered up to $1 million at max, and it covered him. But can you imagine? I mean, not only saved him financially, but the speed that we can help him. I mean, we called the CEO of Robin Assist, which is a 24-hour emergency services company that underpins the travel insurance. We know the CEO. I have his personal cell phone. I call him, and I did call him. It got up to me. My guy was handling it. My team member came to me. He's like, holy holy whatever. This is serious. And within 30 seconds, I had the CEO of the company on the phone. Because if they would have called in, it's a process. Someone's sitting at a typewriter, computer. Who are you? What's going on? I'm like, no. We're going to move. And so we got him to the front of the line and got him moving very quickly. And again, we don't add any cost, but you can't leave America without medical. Travel insurance also protects your trip costs if it's an expensive trip. And there's all these ancillary stuff, trip delay, baggage loss. But certainly you shouldn't leave America without medical. That's if we get anything out of this lesson, that's what it would be.
That's good. And I'm glad that you were able to make that move. So the client calls, puts in their claim, files the claim, and they move on it to pay out all the hospital, the ambulance, and everybody else. So that's a great point. I wanted to touch on, does when do you recommend that? Should I be booking travel domestically or only internationally? When should I get it? Should I be getting on my upcoming cruise when I go on a cruise? When should people really think hard about calling you for travel insurance?
Right. If you're staying in America and you're not going on an expensive trip, then probably not relevant. I wouldn't say there's any relevance there. Because let's say your bags are delayed or whatever, fine. Usually your credit cards will have some type of, credit cards suck generally, but there's no real reason that I would push. And I'm only saying this for people. For us, we're fine. Okay, we already do thousands of these. I'm not trying to push you to buy travel insurance if it's unnecessary. I don't care. But if you're leaving America, that's number one. Yes. If it's an expensive trip, typically people who go on very expensive trips, they want to protect it. That will add cost to your policy. However, if you get the right policy, what if, there's so many things that come up. We have claims all day here. We have a whole claims team. People get sick. Even a cold, by the way, is enough if you get the right policy. You don't need a major sickness. People kind of have it in their mind that it's only if, some major hospitalization. No, it's not the case. I mean, literally, if you have a cold, it's enough. There's always an avenue to getting your money back. What if your flights are delayed? Like we had a guy who was going to Switzerland, a couple of weeks ago. And it was a $20,000 5-day trip to Switzerland. And his flight was delayed due to weather for 6 hours. I think it was 6-7 hours. And he reached out and he was like, I don't know. What are my options? Like, what do I do? And of course, he knows nothing about, this is a 50-page document, right? He doesn't know what's in it. But our team does. We're experts in it. We told him in your policy, if your flight is delayed for more than 6 hours due to weather, okay, you can make a claim on your entire $20,000. And he was like, really? Ooh, I don't know, because maybe, he's like, look, by the time I get a flight, Delta's telling me I'm going to get there in 2 days from now. I'm already going to miss probably 50% or more of my trip anyway. And then with all the travel time, he's like, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to go. Just let's do it. And we got him paid in 7 days. It's one of our Google reviews. You can go on. Our Google reviews are amazing. And it's because, first of all, they're so real. You can see they're not fake. Like you see the passion that people have. And these stories are interesting and they constant, like every minute, you get another review and they're just like, here's my situation. I was stuck. I was this. I was that. I needed help. I find it very interesting. It's almost like a book. You can read our Google reviews. They're fascinating.
For sure. And that's needed. That's necessary. That's Gentleman Style Podcast. We support this. And that's quick. That's a quick turnaround to get paid in 7 days.
It's not quick. It's unheard of. Unheard of. In travel insurance, if you do everything properly and you're on your own, you'll be lucky to get paid in 4 to 6 months as a fact, okay? The fact that we get you paid, and our fastest ever was 2 days, but in fact that a majority of them between 7 and 14 days are getting paid. If you know anything about travel insurance, this is the most unheard of thing. You'd almost say it's unbelievable. It's not true. Like people don't even believe it's possible because we get you to the front of the line. At the insurance company, we have our own dedicated claims people who are dedicated just to our clients because of the volume that we do. And so you get to the front of the line like that. And again, I keep reiterating it, but you don't pay a penny more for this service. That's it.
It's a deal. It's a win-win right there. That's a win-win.
Yeah.
Any experiences where someone wished they had gotten insurance from you? I know you have the reviews and the website and everything to prove the good. Have you ever had a client call you and say, man, I wish I had gotten with you because this happened and this happened? Anything like that?
I've had people reach out. I'll tell you another story. I've had people reach out. Like here's maybe kind of what you're asking. I'm not sure if I understand what you're asking, but I'll answer.
It's like
it anyway.
After the fact, right? After the fact, they've already gone on a travel and there's like, is it too late to get with you?
Well, it depends. Different policy have different rules, right? Like, so you could theoretically still get. Most companies will not sell it, but we have access to every company. But we had a guy, I'll tell you this, we had a guy that we sold him a policy from, I'm not going to say which company, a very famous company, in America, $1 billion company. And he saw the policy because many times our clients don't even know what they're buying. They just trust us, which they should. They just say, look, I know you're good. I know you're experts. Buy for me what's good for me. Because they're not going to spend all the time becoming experts. They already trust our judgment, and which they should. This is all we do here. So we're experts in it. So we get the guy a policy. He sees it in his email. And A minute later, he calls back, goes, no, I don't want this. This is crap. And we're like, whoa, what do you mean it's crap? If I'm telling you, or my team is telling you this is good for you, it's not just not crap. It's actually the best option that even exists in America. So what do you mean it's crap? He says, well, I had an issue with these guys 6 months ago. I bought this policy without knowing who you guys were, but I bought it with my travel agent or some whatever. Travel agents know nothing about travel insurance. They can't help anyone in real life. That's just a fact. And it's been stuck for 6 months and we can't get it going. And this company doesn't pay. That's his line. This company doesn't pay. I said, okay, just to be nice, because this went up the food chain and got to me. I said to him, look, for now, we're not going to cancel your policy. You have 14 days to cancel it. Give us a few days. Let us work on this. I said, even though you didn't buy that policy with us, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Bring the information over here. Let me bring it to my claims analyst that I know personally, and I'm going to see if we can get you paid. When I tell you, bro, I'm not telling you that it happened weeks later. Okay, this was on a Sunday. He reached out to us. He sent us the stuff on Monday. On Tuesday, we get a WhatsApp, because that's how our company is monitoring for anyone who needs anything 24 hours a day by WhatsApp. He WhatsApp to our whole team. I don't know how you did this. That's all he wrote. I don't know how you did this. And then, wow, because we got him fully paid in a day that he was stuck for 6 months. Okay. These kind of stories happen minute to minute here. And so he obviously kept the policy that we had. We said it is a good policy. For whatever reason, you got stuck, because even the best companies, ultimately, when you're on your own, what are you? You're faceless nothing. So with us, we get you going. But I'm saying this is why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I feel blessed that I'm able to do it. And I somehow stumbled on it. And it's not like I'm some genius or anything. I just figured it out. And no one in America does this. This is the craziest thing. That's where we get into the business aspect. Like, to actually find a business that has massive potential and nobody is doing it. It's crazy. It's unheard of.
It's huge. That is huge. That man should be bowing at your feet. I'd be bowing at your feet.
He did, bro. He did. He buys with us all the time. He does. You didn't expect this to be so crazy, did you, when you had me on your show? You didn't know what you were getting.
But I'm glad I did. This is what we do. This is what we do. We find incredible guests with incredible business acumen and incredible business strategies that are helping people. That's what we want to do. And it happens all the time. People want to come on the show and they want to be like, oh, I want to sell my t-shirt business. Oh, I want to sell jewelry. How does that help people? Right.
Well, that's the question of business, right? That's why I love capitalism. All these people like, F capitalism and all that. These people are idiots, right? Because what is capitalism really? Capitalism is the ultimate kindness. If I help you in a fantastic way, right? You're only giving Amazon your money and Apple your money because you want what they have to offer, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you think all day about how can I help people and how can I do something special that doesn't exist in the marketplace, you will be very successful, and that's what it's all about.
That's huge. That's huge. I want to stick right here. Is there any kind of insurance, because you work with all kind of travel agencies, travel agents, companies?
Yeah.
So let's talk. I want to think about seagoing, right? Because we got cruise ships. Is there any kind of lost at sea insurance? Like, if I'm Gilligan's Island, right? Because I'm not dead technically, so my life insurance is void, but I'm lost at sea, the ship capsized. Any kind of protections there?
I mean, I would think so. Sure. I mean, you have things in the policy called trip interruption. If your trip is interrupted, there can be a lot of money there. There can also be political/security evacuation. So if they can find you, in many policies, they'll pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get you home safe. That's called political/security evacuation. It's not a medical evacuation, but it's more of a security kind of vibe evacuation where you're
like a civil revolt.
Well, that would be included in that as well, of course.
Yeah. So I'm in the wrong country, the wrong time. They're revolting, they're rioting in the streets, and it's dangerous. I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's super, super powerful. Super, super powerful.
Yeah.
Where did you get all this business expertise? Where did you come from? Is it your time in corporate America? Is it books? Is it yoga?
I was never in corporate America. I never had a real job before.
Never?
Real job. No. I was an entrepreneur my whole life. I mean, I started this tour company when I was 22 years old. I ran it for, almost 20 years. I'm 43 right now. So
You look good, bro. You look
I do.
jacked.
I do. I work out, bro.
You look
I
fit.
I do. That we could talk about that. I'm very passionate about lifting and working out and stuff. So I don't know if you want to talk about that too, but I don't know. Listen, I used to be a baseball player. I was a college baseball player. I played Division I. I was a pitcher. I was throwing 93 miles an hour when I was a freshman in college. So I was a really serious baseball player. And I think a lot of I'm always a very passionate person. Like the sports brought out the passion in me. And I always kind of felt that I was going to go to the major leagues or whatever it was. And I wasn't that good on it. Now looking back, I see clearly I was good, but you have to be like superhero level to make the major leagues. So I wasn't going to, but I kind of realized at that time college was over. I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do with my life? Like I had no clue. And I just remember my friend who was like always a business expert who you should have on your show too. I'll introduce you. He's fantastic. He runs a huge company. He was like, okay, at that time, again, I was like 20 years old. He's like, we need to figure out a plan for you to make 30 grand a year. That's kind of the mindset I had at the time. I was like, okay, if I can make 30 grand a year, then I don't need to take a real job, right? That's the plan. And I just kind of brainstormed all sorts of different ideas. And then eventually I got into running tours, luxury tours. And that was kind of what I love to do. And I love to be around that kind of thing. And it just, again, I got killed. That's a long story. I took money from a bank back in the days when you could get money from a bank. I was living in my sister's basement. I mean, I had no money. And somehow a bank gave us money, me and my business partner, and we lost it all. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. But I learned a lot from that experience. And then we came back in the future and I was able to make it profitable and get it going. And, we eventually made it very successful. But
What
I
kept
dropped
you going?
it
Because
all.
most people give up, right? When they fail at something. Why did you keep going and pushing past the pain? What inspired you?
I didn't think I was going to. Honestly, I was planning on quitting. And then over time, I was like, it's just dawned on me because like when you look back, because the tour is like a time. Tours are not like a everyday type of a job, right? Travel Defend is an everyday job. Tours are like seasonal or moments in time, let's say a 2-week period where you take all this group to Scotland or you do whatever. And I kind of was just like on the downtime, I was looking at it and I was like, I know so clearly what I did wrong. It was like a college education that first year. Because nothing can prepare you for real life. All the books and all the talking and all the investigating, nothing slaps you in the face like real life. Okay. Real life is the ultimate teacher if it can actually work. And so that's really what it was. I was just kind of sitting after and just sitting and being like, man, I know. And I wrote it all down. I was like, I got to change this and I got to change it. And I was so certain it was going to work. And that's actually the only time maybe I did take a real job. For 6 months, I got a job in some listing company, which I was like, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what it is. Some guy decided to hire me for something. I don't even know what he hired me for. I sat there for 6 months just to collect enough money to restart my business. And I still remember him trying to convince me to stay. And I'm like, you want me to stay? Like, I don't even know what the hell I'm even doing here. Like, why do you want me to stay? And he's like, you're good. You're this. And I'm like, am I? I don't even know what I'm doing. And point is, I left. I took the meager money I made and put it back into the business. And thank God from there, we were successful. But I remember at that time, like my friends were like, yo, let's go out. Let's go to dinner. And I'm like, if you pay for me, I'll go with you. Like, I don't have any money. It was bad. Like I didn't come from money or anything like that. So like, this was a real process, but I kind of learned early on that I can never work for anyone. It just doesn't work. Like my personality, it just doesn't work, So
mom and dad weren't entrepreneurs. You didn't have a rich uncle, nothing like that. You were the first entrepreneur in your family to do this successfully.
Yeah. Like my father passed away when I was 3 years old. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Not looking to get a whole sob story here, but that's what happened. My mom was an optician. She is an optician, she probably does make 30 grand a year. I don't know what she makes, but no, none of that. All my I have sisters that were older. They married guys who were, like school teachers, stuff like that. No money in my family or anything like that. It wasn't, I understood from an early age, like if I don't make it on my own, Like, I guess I'll have somewhere to live. I could live with my mom or my sister or something, but like, that's it. Like, there's no life here without me making it on my own. You know, that's how it was.
You sound like me. You remind me of me. I felt that way. I'm from the Virgin Islands, and I felt like staying at home wasn't for me. I needed to go.
Yeah.
I needed to go far away as possible
Hmm.
so that I could change my surroundings and change my settings. So this is powerful, and you are speaking to me. This is hitting my heartstrings right now.
Look,
We are gonna go.
I grew up in Toronto, right? So if I go back there, even now, bro, I hate going back there. I want to kill myself because you see these same schmucky schmoes who look at you like, oh, I remember you when you were 10 years old. And they look at you like you're such a loser. And you can never break out of that by staying in that bubble. Like, you go back and you still see the same people doing the same things, just they look old as hell now. And so going to a new place just opened me up, and I was kind of getting judged by like, oh, there's this new cool guy here. And like, they're not judging me by when I was 7. You know what I mean?
Right. They don't have the new version of you. All they have is the old version. So that's powerful. That's huge, huge, huge. We are going to go to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back after these commercial breaks. See you guys soon.
Baby Gear Services DMV specializes in high-quality baby gear rentals in the Maryland and DC metro area. We have a wide range of baby gear items for rent, including wooden cribs, car seats, high chairs, and more. We also offer seasonal specials and free delivery. Our prices are very versatile to cover every budget. Wooden cribs start at $17 a day, high chairs and even car seats start at $5 a day. Check out our website, www.bgsdmv.com.
We are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We have the incredible Mr. Ben Camille. And this man is changing the absolute game. His company, Travel Defend, is helping people save on their international travel. Not local, right? Overseas. So
well, we can help anything, yeah.
We can help anyone. So what about Mexico? Because that's still in the US, but it's still out of the country. Would you recommend getting insurance in Mexico if I'm going there, or Canada?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Anything outside of America, meaning, yes, Mexico is South America, yes, but it's not America, meaning most people in America, whatever medical coverage they have will cover them. But if they leave the country, typically they don't have. Again, travel insurance does many more things. I'm just talking on a very base level. If you want it just for medical, then certainly if you're leaving America, I would say it's important. But travel insurance can do many things, you know, and if someone, certainly, like I said, going on an expensive trip or something like that, it could be very important.
Absolutely. You're an entrepreneur, been an entrepreneur forever, been going hard in the paint, going hard at this. I want to ask, what is the one thing that you would do different, knowing what you know now? Would you still go into Travel Defend and build this great company? Would you do anything different? Any words of wisdom you want to share to fellow entrepreneurs watching this out in the audience?
Right. I think it's an important question, and I think it's a haunting question. I think it haunts people because you always feel like, what are the other options? What else could I do? Anytime I speak to anyone and I say, well, what are you doing? And they say, well, I have this gig and this side gig and this side gig. I would say almost in every case, this is not a successful person. Okay. You cannot be successful in 100 different things. It's hard enough to be successful in one thing. You know, take Walmart, you know, the Walton family. You think Sam Walton rather, is building Walmart and also doing, you know, crypto on the side? He's not. Okay. You need to pick something and go with it. Like, I used to listen a lot. I don't listen anymore, but I used to listen to Howard Stern. I don't know if you're familiar with him, you know, like the radio guy, right?
Yeah.
He makes hundreds of millions of dollars.
He's rude as hell.
Yeah. But my point about bringing him up is, did he think he was going to ever make money in radio? No, he didn't. Nobody goes into radio thinking they're ever going to make any money, right? That's just ridiculous. You don't make money in radio. Nobody does. But he made hundreds of millions of dollars. So my point is that you have to find the right vehicle, yes, but you have to commit to something in order to build something great. You can't always dabble in 100 different things. So I don't want to look back. I know what I'm doing now is extremely special. I don't think there's any other business that I know of that has as much potential, is as special as what we're doing. But the point is, even if there was, I would focus on what I'm doing and try and make it great, because I really don't believe in this side hustle thing. It's very hard. You need to commit to something and build something, and hopefully you have the right vehicle. That's a whole discussion. Are you in the right vehicle? That, every person has to discuss. But if you are and you're in a good vehicle, you need to just commit to it and make it happen.
What books do you read that inspire you, or that you would recommend that you commonly recommend to others?
Oh, I'm reading such a good book now. It's so crazy. I read so many books, but there's one called The Millionaire Fast Lane. I can find out the author of it if you want. But The Millionaire Fast Lane is such an interesting book because it sounds like I'm just looking for the title. It's by M.J. DeMarco. I want to talk about that book for a second because it's one I'm currently reading right now. It sounds like such a catchy title, like, oh, a millionaire, how to become a millionaire. It's so perfect in terms of explaining why people get stuck and what you need to do to actually build something powerful, and how many people get stuck in dead-end jobs, and how people get stuck in careers, and how they get stuck really kind of buying into a lot of the myths of money making. And it gives you a very clear, it can't tell you, obviously each individual is different, but it gives you a very clear guide path to being able to create something of extreme value. And so I really recommend you read it. In the beginning, he goes a little too long on just talking of like the negatives of being on different paths that he talks about. But once he gets into the fast lane, it's fantastic. It's just an amazing book. I'm really, really, really blown away by it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. I could tell you're a reader. You got the books in the background. I'm a avid reader, and leaders are readers, right? So you're a leader. You've built an incredible company. You're helping thousands of people, hundreds of people. And that doesn't come by accident, right? It comes from leading by example and reading and educating yourself and constantly growing and developing yourself, or you wouldn't be where you are today. And you wouldn't have that mindset to help people, right? Who I think is Dave Ramsey said it is like, you serve enough people, they start just paying you, right? And it's not because of some self-righteous, anything like, oh, you need to pay me. It's let me help you. You didn't have to help that one client, right? He didn't get the policy, or he wanted to get rid of the policy, and you were like, well, let's talk about this. You didn't have to do that, but you did it because that's what leaders do.
Right. I could have found him a different policy from a different company and said, fine. But I wanted to help him, and I wanted to also showcase how powerful we are, because I love to do that. But most people, when you're starting a business, you have to ask, how can I help? In what way can I help? Like, a lot of people will start a pizza shop. Okay, well, there's 800 other pizza shops, right? How are you differentiating yourself? And this is what so many people forget. Like, my nephew came to me and he was interested in buying a business, which I don't always recommend necessarily, but he wanted to buy a Turkish towel business, which he saw they were trying to sell and they had good numbers and whatever it was. And I said to him just one basic question. I said, how does this Turkish towel business differentiate itself? Meaning, how are you any different than any other Turkish towel company or product? I go to Walmart, I'm sure there's a million Turkish towels there. And he couldn't answer the question. I said, if you can't answer that, then this is a loser business. It's just dumb. And you always, in any entrepreneurial business, you've got to figure out, what is my differentiator? And then you got to take that and try and make it, multiply it even more. Like, when I started my business, all these things that I explained to you of how we do it, you think this came to me overnight? You think this is like a one-day process? This took probably 8 months of constant iterations to realize, oh, this is the next thing I need to offer. Oh, this is something that the people need. This is how we need to do things. This was a long process. And by the way, it wasn't so obvious that it was going to work either. My business partner on tours, he didn't want to be a part of this. I offered him, I said, let's do this. Just we did the tours. Come with me. And he was like, no, this is not going to work. I told many friends, many people, and they were like, oh, this is a stupid idea. It's only obvious now that it wasn't obvious at the time. And so the point is, I could see it clearly though, differentiation, and we just keep improving.
Absolutely. Are you and the partner still business partners today? Are y'all still friends today?
We're not business partners, but yeah, he's one of my best friends. We're very close. I mean, we grew up together. You know, we were friends since we were 10 years old. You know, and he got a job as a CFO of a home healthcare company. And so he's doing well. But again, he took a job. He's working a job. You know, anytime you take in a job, you know, you're not in control of your destiny, in my opinion. For sure. When you talk about that 8-month startup, that hump, that fight that you had to really work at it, what's the first thing that you wish you had did, or what's the first thing you'd recommend to a business owner when starting their business? Is it hiring a marketing team? Is it hiring a sales team? Is it hiring an assistant? What's the first thing you recommend a business owner do? No, it's the one thing that nobody does, or most people, it's the hardest thing we try not to do. You know what that is? In society, especially, it's to think. People are always on their goddamn phones and they're running around with their business, but they don't think. I would walk for hours by myself and I would think, and I would come up with angles, and I would come up with offers, and I would come up with reasons why this is going to work. Because so many people like action and they love hiring marketing, hiring people, doing things. But think about it. You're on the wrong path. Everywhere you go will be wrong because you didn't think enough to get you on the right path. And so many people, and that's what certainly people who aren't entrepreneurs and they're in their jobs and whatever, they don't think. And it's something that I believe strongly that people are, it's the one thing people hate to do. They hate to really just be alone with their thoughts with no distractions, actually tackle this problem, tackle it. You know, for a long time, I couldn't get tour operators and travel agents to work with us. Why? Really? Because I would reach out to them and I would say the word travel insurance and they would go, don't want to hear it. You're selling me something, not interested. And I couldn't figure out, how do I get over this problem? How do I fix it? Because what I have to tell them and what we do is so special. And so I realized the answer came to me after months of thinking about it. Say, how do I solve this problem? I will never be able to grow this company to a big company if I don't solve this. And I started to realize, you understand the data I already have of thousands of people? At this point, I already did thousands of people. I already made those initial connections off my first tour business. I already had word of mouth. I had people coming in the door. It wasn't like a crazy amount, but I had people coming in. I have everyone's date of birth. I have everyone's trip dates. I have everyone's trip cost. I know how much they went on their trip. I have every data point you could want. Do you know how valuable this data is to a tour operator? Imagine you were running, you know, your whatever gentleman tour to Italy. Right. These travelers are real travelers. These people are people who spend thousands of dollars on tours. I have thousands of these people. Do you understand how beneficial this is for tour operators? And I'm happy to partner. I'm happy to help you guys market to these people because we're going to target it so perfectly that it's going to be to their benefit. Like the people who are marketing to are going to love it because they're going to say, oh yeah, I am interested in this tour. Thanks for telling me. And so the fact is that when I now approach a tour operator and I say, hey, we have thousands of luxury clients. Do you want to talk? Of course they want to talk. Everyone wants to talk with me. It was simply that point of thinking, of coming up with the plan that changed the entire trajectory of everything. Because before, nothing was working. And I could have just sat there and go, oh, it doesn't work. Can't build the business. But I didn't say that. I said, I'm gonna figure it out. Have to figure it out. And it's just up here.
Woo! Spilling the absolute tea. I can't even come behind that. We're gonna go to one more commercial break, y'all. Stay tuned. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Support for Gentleman Style Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers you precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. The 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off free worldwide shipping with the code GENSTYLE at manscaped.com.
We are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and I have the incredible Mr. Ben Camille with his company, Travel Defend, saving lives, y'all, literally saving lives and saving you costs on your trip, your international trip, your overseas trip. He just gave some great examples. If you missed it, go back, scroll back, check him out. The man, the myth, the legend. You can catch this episode on iTunes, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Facebook business page, YouTube, Audible, and wherever, radio.com, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast today. Mr. Ben, what should someone have before they reach out to Travel Defend, right? Should they have already bought their plane tickets? How much money should they have ready to go? Or what should they expect before booking a consultation with you and your team?
I mean, typically they have a trip that's, in the works, trip they booked or thinking of booking. And yeah, just either go to that website that you see on the screen, traveldefend.com, which you can purchase a policy right there if you want to. However, most people like to call, which is the heavy lifting of our business, a real concierge service. And it's 1-800-578-2871. Again, 1-800-578-2871. Call us. Our team is here. We're standing by. We're ready to help. By the way, we also set up a WhatsApp with you as a client that's monitored by our team 24 hours a day. So if, let's say, you're in Spain and someone breaks their leg, you're not on your own. You reach out and our team is going to help you immediately and get you figured out. So we don't just sell it and disappear. We're with you, stand with you, and we'll make sure to protect you properly.
So it's not just one and done. You're on your way. You're going to stay with me the whole time during my trip until I come all the way back. So
right. Which was, by the way, everything that I keep mentioning, this was a process of figuring it out. Because you realize, how does the whole industry work right now? Let's say Allianz, their biggest company in America for travel insurance. They do $1.3 billion a year, okay, in travel insurance. When you buy it and then you need them, who are you calling? Someone in the Philippines? Like, there's no one to help you in real life. You're speaking to some, agent in some call center who has an accent, who is like, what do you need? What's going on? This is how it is in real life.
right.
And so we were like, you know what? We need to stand with the people throughout. And we need access to the real decision makers in these companies so that we're protecting our people properly.
That's true. That's super, super dope. This is huge, y'all. Huge. Mr. Ben Camille on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, helping us get to a better place. Mr. Ben, you've dropped so many nuggets this episode. This has been fantastic. This has been huge. This has been epic. You are helping change the world. And any final nuggets to that entrepreneur, because you do this every single day. You do this. Yeah. You live this. Any final nuggets to that entrepreneur against the fence? He's struggling in his business. He wants to get his back against the wall. He wants to actually start really making a difference, but he doesn't know if he's doing the right thing or putting his energy in the right place.
That's such a hard question, man. And like,
put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. The real question is, right, and it's only a hard question because we're talking just to the masses, right? We're not talking to an individual. If you present an individual, we could have a better conversation about it. But many people are in the wrong vehicle. And this is something that gets really wiped under the rug. Everyone's like, be an entrepreneur, struggle, da-da-da. If you're struggling so much, maybe you're in the wrong vehicle. Because many times if you're in the right vehicle, yes, all business is a struggle, of course, but it may not be as big a struggle as it needs to be. If I open a hot dog stand outside of Yankee Stadium and I'm there when the game ends and there's going to be 50,000 people coming out, is it going to be such a struggle to sell a hot dog? No, it's honestly not going to be. Okay. Oh, yeah. So the question is, which is what people are not honest with themselves, which again goes back to the thinking thing that I said. Are they thinking? Are they actually thinking? Is this a good vehicle? Being honest with yourself and saying, you know what? I spent years of my life on this business and it's just crap. And that's why it's just not a good vehicle. Typically, e-commerce businesses are terrible. They suck, typically. Why do they suck, right? Because there's no money there. There's no way to ever get money out of this thing. You put tons of money into Facebook ads and Instagram ads and Google ads. And then you actually have a product that costs you thousands of dollars. And then you have all this inventory that doesn't sell. Some of it sells, some of it doesn't. And then you have to get it shipped in from either Italy or China or wherever. And then you have to put more money back into the business to pay for more marketing and more inventory. And then you have to pay shipping costs. Where's the money? How do you actually make money in this game, right? Take Casper as a big company. They do mattresses. You may have heard of them. The dirty secret of e-commerce, and you can look into this, Casper sold like $500 million worth of mattresses, and they're still not profitable. They're not making any money. And so
it's pointless.
You've got to think about these things and actually think and actually realize, is this a good business or not?
I love that. That's huge. Huge. We need that.
Now we got to go to the clubs. Now we're ready for the clubs.
Party. Oh, this is dope. This has been an incredible episode. Mr. Ben, you have shared some incredible nuggets this episode. This is huge, and we needed to hear this. So I want to say this to you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what your company does. And thank you again. We got to put that back up on the screen. That's Travel, Defend, Connect. You guys got to get with us. The next trip. This man has a heart of gold. So you're not going to get better brokerage service, concierge service from beginning to end. And on that note, I want to say to you, like I said, don't ever quit because we need you, brother.
Oh, bro, I'm not quitting. You don't got to worry about me. I'm doing good. Thank God.
Super dope. All right, y'all. We got to let Mr. Ben go. He has many more trips to book, more travel, insurance, brokers, policies to sell with him and his team. We got to let him go. This man got a company to run. But thank you for tuning in. I hope this has helped you all. This has definitely helped me and served me. And I hope this help takes you and your business to the next level. And when you consider that next trip, get with Mr. Ben and his team and check him out, y'all. All right, y'all. Like we end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and Mr. Ben Camille. Sorry, I almost said Ben Miller. I made you an actor just now. Mr. Ben Camille signing off, changing the absolute world. Love you guys.
Thank
Bye.
you, bro.